I was in a one of those kind of things that you can't hop out of, events, and I couldn't get out on time. So anyway, we're a little late. Maybe that, gave some of you more of an opportunity to tune in. Who knows? But if you're not tuning in live, who cares? Because you're up at 3 in the morning with insomnia, and you had to find somebody boring to listen to. So you've logged on in our 24/7 way to do this. The show it is a live show. And the reason it's a live show is so you can call in. And let me give you the number for that. It's 844-940-2774. That's why we choose to do this live instead of just record something, so we can have callers. 844-940-2774. 844-940-2774. There's probably a line or two open now. So call us. And if you don't get to be on the live portion, then you get to tune in anytime, 24/7. So that means if you hear something today that applies to maybe a friend of yours or somebody in the family, you can pull it up and send them the link and spread the news of the group that we have here. Mostly each and every day. Now, I did miss yesterday. I'm sorry about that. We thought we were going to try to do a show, and I had to have I mean, it's no big secret, but I had to have an epidural. I've got a disc problem that is pinching a nerve, and have had, a lot of can't stand up for long sort of pain. And so an epidural, and it was scheduled around the time of our show. And I thought I'd do it later, but but I was pretty loopy, and so I thought, okay, do I do a non-sober program, or just not do a program? And with the best advice of my wife, who had picked me up from the clinic and brought me home, she said, I don't think you should go on the air today, because a lot of what I was saying, she said, didn't make sense. So anyway, we postponed it. So sorry I missed you yesterday, but we are here today. Okay, want to start out with just a little bit of a thought in the beginning here. And that is this. We're talking to a lot of people right now about, you got converging kind of realities hitting in a lot of ways for, everybody to some degrees, in some ways, horrible ways, because we have a pandemic that we are well into. Tori and I were talking last night. Do you remember when it first hit and they said, we're going to have a lockdown for 2 weeks, and we're going, what? The whole world's going, 2 weeks? Are you kidding me? We can't go to stores and restaurant 2 weeks? And then after that, they go, no, we're going to have to extend it to a month. What? A month? And then, we're going to be out by Easter. What? Well, here we are. And so that has been a big convergence on our realities. We've had all sorts of stuff this year, as you know, even horrible things yesterday. And we're in the aftermath and the ongoing, just chaos and pain of all of what's going on there. And then it's a new year. And so what we see a lot in people's postings on social media and in conversations is it's a new year. And I love a lot of the cartoons that are going out about, saying goodbye to 2020. Some you can say on the air and some you can't, but everybody's glad that at least symbolically the year's over, and we're hoping 2021 will be different. A lot of good reasons to believe that. But personally, in our personal lives, sometimes, and we did a whole event on this, you can find it at boundaries.me/2021 on New Year's resolutions. On the personal side, what we do is, well, I'm going to make this year different. And that's great. We ought to be doing that often anyway, looking at where we are at a given point in time and saying on the next, whatever given point in time, I'm going to be moving the ball forward. Well, that's great. But resolution's not enough. Resolution is certainly gets you thinking about what you want to do, and there's got to be a plan to do that. But then what happens is there's got to be a process. And so I just wanted to remind you quickly as we start this morning that we can make a resolution to do something. Okay, I can make a resolution to, if I'm a golfer, which I am. I haven't been for over a year because I've been hurt, but um, I'll get back into it as soon as this stuff, this pain is gone. So let's say that I have a certain handicap, which for you golfers, that's easy way to think about it. It's sort of like your average score. Okay, and let's say I got a goal. My resolution is I'm going to lower that by 5 shots this year, by 5 strokes. My average is going to come down 5 strokes. Or if you're in sales, I'm going to increase my sales by X amount. Okay, or you're looking at the health side of things. I'm going to lose weight by however many pounds. Okay, that's a resolution, right? Now, here's the deal. Reality is for me to move my golfing abilities down 5 strokes, which statistically would be very, very hard, but let's just pretend, then I can't just resolve to do that. I got to have a strategy and a plan and some activities that are going to do what? Build my capacity to shoot a better score. See, we don't resolve for a score to drop unless you're a magician. What we resolve is that we grow and increase our capacity in some area. If you want to make a marriage better, we're not just going to resolve to have a better marriage and this year's going to be better and just go do better. Well, we got to build some skills, right? You got to build some communication abilities. You got to build some listening abilities. You got to be less reactive. You got to maybe have some better limits and boundaries. And for some people, it's the only way it's going to turn around. And you got to there's a lot of things we got to do, and they're different. Okay. But however you're going to change what you've done. And again, if you want a whole way methodology to do this, go to boundaries.me/2021. But whatever that plan is and that methodology, you've got to have some way of making sure that you are not only have the awareness of what you want to do, but that in real time on an ongoing basis, you've got to be reminded of what you're doing that is not the way you want to do it. Okay. And you got to be reminded of the right way to do it. And then you got to deliberately do the right way. And then you got to have some support along the way. So, we're what's today? The 8th, 8th or 9th? I don't know. I never know what day it is. What day is this? Let me see. We are 7th. 7th? No, that's not right. Yeah, we're the 7th. So we're 7 days into this thing. Well, what are your reminders? And the habit, people call it a cue, right? Something that reminds you. Maybe you have a buddy system. Maybe you have a tickler on your calendar, or maybe you got an alarm that goes up on your phone. I mean, it's not like we don't have or we have no shortage of tools to help us get reminded now. But are we using them? And I like people tools as well as, post-it notes and technology tools. I love buddy systems. My wife, uh, she is amazing about her. She takes a morning walk um, several times a week with 2 other women. And I mean, with the buddy system like that, with 3 of them, I'm telling you, they always start right on time. I know when they're going to leave the house and I know when they're going to be back. And it is like clockwork. Why? Because they got the power of that reminder of each other committed to the same task. Well, there's all sorts of other reminders, but here's what I want you to build into whatever you're trying to change. I want you to remember that neurologically, and I'm being scientific here, neurologically, you got to have those 4 elements. You've got to have the awareness, okay, of what the issue is and what you got to do. But then you got to have the focused attention on it tomorrow or the next day or whenever it is. Somebody's got to let you know in some way. You got to let you know, or somebody else, hey, this is the issue. You said you're going to do this. Said you weren't going to do it that way. You're going to do it this way. Oh, yeah, you're right. You're right. You got my attention now. And then I got to turn my attention to deliberately practice the new thing and do it. And then I got to have support along the way. So build those in to whatever you're trying to change. That's why we go to therapy, right? We become aware of an issue. You go see a therapist. Oh, yeah, you got a major depression. Here's what we're going to work on. Here's your goals. And okay, I'm done. Yeah, right. I'll see you next Tuesday at 10:30. What? I got to come back. Yeah, we're gonna focus on this issue. What's your issue? Well, I tend to hide my feelings. Okay, we're gonna work on that. You come in next Tuesday. How you been doing? Oh, well, great. How about those Lakers? Didn't you tell me you hide your feelings? I mean, how come every time we get close, it looks like you're sad, you change the subject? See, that's focused attention in the real time. How about that? So now we got to go to the next step, deliberately practicing the new things. So why don't you tell me what you're really feeling? And see, you're getting support along the way. One of the things we like to do in our family, not now because my kids are in college, but we did at various intervals. Sometimes we were good about it, and sometimes less. But we would have little games we would play on bringing focused attention to one of our issues, right? So in a family meeting, we'd go around and say, okay, each of us would have to say, so, hey guys, how am I doing? What am I doing that you like? And what do I need to do better? And we, mom and me and Olivia and Lucy, we'd all have to be on the hot seat, right? And you did really well this week on blah, blah, blah. And here's what we need you to do different. All right. So sometimes I remember one period where we were talking about blaming and giving excuses and blaming. And so we had this little game where, remember this sign when you put the L on your forehead, loser, Well, I started this thing, losers blame and winners take responsibility. So the family would, if somebody would, you left the kitchen dirty. Well, that was because and somebody blamed somebody, everybody was going to look at them and give them a big L, right? That's focused attention in the moment. So let's have some covenants in your business meetings. At the end of the meeting, let's covenant with the team and say, how did we do today on listening to each other? How do we do today on staying focused? Whatever you set the thing you're trying to get better at, focus attention, and then say, okay, let's deliberately practice the way we need to do it. That's how behavior changes. All righty. We are going to, all right, now I'm going to do something. Albie, is he on the line, said person?
Yep.
This may be the most dangerous thing I have ever done. And I'm just going to issue a warning to this man that I will get you back. So I'm going to start that way because I know who I'm dealing with. I don't know if many of you have ever heard one of my favorite comedians in the world, and that's Michael Jr. I'm sure we got millions of Michael Jr. fans out there. And looks like Michael Jr. has called in. I didn't know this was coming. He's called in and he wants to say hi. And I'm just got to beg him, Michael Jr., go easy on me, man. Happy New Year.
Yo, Cloudy, how you doing, man?
I am doing, I saw your name come up. Are you kidding me? This is like the coolest thing that's happened in a while. How are you? Haven't seen you in, obviously since COVID. How are you?
I'm amazing, man. Fabulous. I heard you had an epidural. Was it a girl or a boy? Like, what'd you have? Like, what'd you have to do epidural? What's something like you giving birth? That's amazing.
Yeah, twins.
Twins. Wow.
Twins.
Yeah, I actually was about to do a Facebook Live myself,
Michael,
and then
when you had your kids, did you do it natural or did you do the epidural?
Well, first of all, my wife had the kids. I just want to throw that out there real quick.
What? How'd you get her to do that?
Yeah, she did all of the birthing. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know how
I'll
it
try
works
that next time.
for white people, but the men normally just we just contribute a few minutes at the beginning, and then after that, it's like, all right, you got this. So yeah, my wife actually went all natural.
How'd you
She
get it?
went
How'd you get it
100%
up to? How'd you get it up
natural.
to a few minutes? We need to have a seminar on that. Anyway, that's a different topic. Way to go, Michael. Good job, man.
Yeah, yeah, man. Cool, good stuff, man. Yeah, so I was
Yeah.
about to do a Facebook Live, and then I saw that you were live. I'm like, how can I go live when Claudia is live? I gotta listen. I gotta learn some stuff, dude, because I know that you're brilliant. You're people watching right now. You already know, but this dude is super, super smart, and the fact that you have an honorary doctorate degree in this stuff is great. So it's not honorary.
I got that honorary doctorate from the Michael Junior Comedy University, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
where that came from? So what have you
absolutely,
been up to
man.
now? I saw you had a TV show in the works and some stuff that came
Hmm.
out. Where can people go find? If y'all never heard Michael Jr., you got to go. You got to go hear this man. So where did you where can they find you right now?
Hmm. Well, it's funny, man. Right now,
Or did they
it sounds
ban
like
you?
this
I
is
mean,
planned. Like
you might have gotten banned from the airways for all I know. You just went too
I
far.
did get banned. You could just see me, a black dude in a red hat. Yep, that's what happened. Not at all. Anyway, so what happened was what I'm doing right now. Actually, I was about to go on live to tell people that they can join that we're looking for people to join my book launch team. I wrote a book. It's Cloudy. I actually wrote a book. It's coming out in March. The name of the book is called Funny How Life Works. Super
Funny
excited
how
about
now
it,
you
man.
wrote
So
now wait a minute. So did you do a few minutes in the beginning? Your wife really wrote this book. Is that what really happened
no. She just spell checked it. I did everything else. Like, yeah, she just because I don't spell super well. But yeah, it's called Funny How Life Works. And if anybody even listening right now, if you want to join the Michael Jr. launch team, just go to michaeljr.com/launch team. We're gonna have some fun with this thing, man. It's a book about. Well, actually, this is the first time I've talked publicly about the book, and this is not even on purpose. I'm not here to promote the book. I just really love you, man, and the stuff that you're doing. Even with like, I know some people. I won't say their names that you're working with on and you're giving some of your counseling to, dude, and you're really making a significant difference. So,
there?
way to fully utilize that community college honorary doctorate degree, dude. Like you are really milking this thing. So, but really, you are having a
Actually, it
big
was a
effect on some
mail
people.
order. It was back in the old days when you
Yeah.
could call. The comic books had those little mail order degrees. Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah.
Well,
And
thank
listen,
you,
everybody
man. I
listening right now,
appreciate it.
everybody listening right now, they won't, Cloudy can't tell you this. That's just what I call it. Anyway, he can't tell you this, but there are some major players, some major leaders that all of us know that this man gets to speak into their lives and help them in some significant ways. And he's having a big impact in a big way. I know you're not going to tell anybody because you want to be all humble because that looks better or whatever, dude. Like, I'm just going to let the people know you are doing some significant stuff, man. So, yeah, we should do a book together soon. Remember, we were going to do that book. We were going to call it The Power of the Brother. Remember, we were going to
Power
do
of
that
the
book, but
Brother.
you decided to just do it Power of the Other
No,
instead. So
it was
whatever, dude.
after I wrote Power of the Other. Then you said we need to do the Power of the Brother, and I said yeah, that's what it should have been. In fact, we'll relaunch it. So
Yeah, we
so
could do a
Michael,
relaunch.
give me I got some callers waiting on us, but I want you, rarely, well, I rarely, never, ever, never has this program been visited by the level of wisdom that it's being visited with when you call in. And so we are in a new year.
Wow.
So I'm going to give you and
Wow.
the audience here I'm going to give you I'll just give them some wisdom for the new year.
So here's what I say. So whenever I'm on stage doing stand-up comedy, the way comedy works is there's always a setup and then there's a punchline. The setup is what you need to know in order to fully understand the punchline. So the setup is when a comedian will make you think in one direction and then he'll change the direction in a way you're not expecting. And that change is actually the punchline and it creates revelation, fulfillment, and joy. Well, life is very, very similar. There's a setup and a punchline. The setup is about what you have received. the fact that you're married, you got a car, you got a degree. Your setup is about what you receive, but your punchline is about what you're called to deliver. And a lot of people know their setup, but not enough people understand what their punchline is. But the truth is when you understand your punchline, you'll have more impact. In fact, even your setbacks in life, like me, I used to struggle with my reading. Even your setbacks are part of your setup, so you can deliver the punchline you're called to deliver. So there's a lot of people right now in 2021 who have a lot of setbacks, and you could deliver your punchline because it's so easy to find somebody else who needs it. So instead of asking the question, what can I get? Start asking the question, what can I give? And you will deliver in 2021. I'm Michael Jr. I'm going to drop the phone.
Michael, thank you, man.
Yeah,
I always,
dude, you're awesome.
love listening to you. If you guys ever get a chance to go to an event that Michael is doing, then get there, or I guess soon, just watch it online and watch for this book. Hey, man, I appreciate it. Thank you for calling in.
Man. Thank you.
All right, buddy.
Thanks, man.
Love
You're
you.
awesome, Claudia.
We'll see you soon. All right.
Yeah, you too.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
I don't know. Michael does stand up, if you've never seen him at big events. And I have seen him just, oh my gosh, not a dry eye in the place, because you can't even breathe sometimes. He's so funny. Anyway, check him out at michaeljr.com. Okay, we are going to talk to Yvonne, who's calling us from Southern California. Yvonne, welcome to the program.
Oh, hi. Oh, hi, Dr. Cloud. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. Just working from home, so it's pretty nice. But yeah, I'm calling because I got married about a month ago. I moved into my husband's. It's a weird situation where it's like this house belonged to my husband's grandpa, but he passed away. So it got passed down to my husband's dad. And so it's technically his house, but he let us live here until we have enough saved for ourselves.
Oh, that's
and I think the physics. Yeah, it's really, really nice, actually, because this is like the first time I've lived rent-free in a pretty long time.
That's nice. Rent-free is very nice.
Yeah.
Lot more money for pizzas when you are living rent-free. So now this is a show where most people call in and they got a problem. So what's the problem with living rent-free? Are you finding out it's not exactly free?
No, I mean, I think it's just like trying to figure out the physical boundaries of like this house, just because my in-laws do come maybe 2 to 3 times a week for their hobbies. My father-in-law does woodworking in the garage, and my mother-in-law does like glass fusing. But I guess I don't know, it's small things where it's like, they'll buy.
So they use the house a few times a week.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
They don't just call. It's actually their let's call it their offices are there a few times a week. Their workplace. Maybe a hobby, but it's where they work.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean, because they're both retired, so they kind of just have a lot of free time on their hands.
All right.
But yeah, like it's like they have keys to the place, obviously, because it's like their place. But I guess like we don't even get, like the text about like, oh, we're on our way. So I always feel like it's awkward, and then they'll like buy food to keep in the fridge for themselves, but they don't really come over as much, and it's like, a few parts of the fridge are like half of it's like their stuff. And I think I'm just so I'm like
they're there roughly 2 to 3 meals a week, and they get half the fridge.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So give me a question.
Yeah.
I think I get the scenario. What's the question?
I think the question is like how. I mean, I guess it's like a few, but it's like, do I have any right, I guess, to bring this up to them? That it kind of bothers me when I live here rent free, or like, I guess because like they do use this as like a second house for them, but just trying to understand like what I'm allowed to, and not even like allowed to touch.
How does your husband feel about it?
I think he accepts
Because you don't,
like that,
actually,
they,
it's not, you don't, and
yeah.
here's what I say. I'm not picking on you. I'm trying to get you a teammate here. You say, I do
Hmm.
live here rent free. Well, we live here rent free, right? So it's
Yeah.
you and your husband live there rent free. And so if you're going to address this or how you're going to address this, I promise you it is going to go way better if the two of you are on the same page.
Yeah. I think
So are
he
you on
kind
the
of has
same
like
page?
accepted. Um, I think more or less. I mean, I don't. They're definitely like we've definitely had some conflicts about things like this because it's like his parents and it's like if they. So before we got married, he actually lived here on his own for a little bit just to kind of get used to living on his own. So he was more used to like seeing them and like they kind of got used to like a routine. But I guess like now that I'm here, it's a little bit different. But I think he's accepted that,
I'm sorry,
they
I had
have.
a mouthful of coffee when you said it's a little bit different. I almost lost my
No
coffee.
worries.
Yeah, I would say it's more than a little bit different because you have converged. You're experiencing the stress crack. If a bridge has something in the foundation of it or a house, then it's going to have stress on it, and you'll see a crack. And so, whose
Mhm.
food is this? What time do you come over? That's that's the crack. That's the symptom. What's missing
Mhm.
here or has never gotten established is the foundation of how are
Mhm.
we building this new bridge. The bridge used to
Mhm.
work in a certain way
Mhm.
where one car an hour would come over. Now we got kind of a bigger load coming over this bridge because we don't just have one more person. And that's what I want you to hear. We don't just
Mhm.
have another person in the house, we have an entire entity now living in the house. Now, when he was there,
Mhm.
one person can dance around a couple of people that he's known his whole life, and they have patterns
Mhm.
established and this, that, and the other. Way easier than now we
Mhm.
have a real landlord tenant entity.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
you guys are an entity. You're a marriage. You're a family. So
Mhm.
you're going to run into stress cracks until you sit down and get the renter's agreement.
Mhm.
What are the expectations? See, when you
Yeah.
say, and I'm gonna go back to your words. I'm not on your case at all. This would happen
Oh no,
99%
I
of the
don't feel
time.
that at all.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so when you say, do I have the right even to bring this up because I'm living in their house? Obviously, you're going to feel that way. Gosh, you're grateful. You're getting a huge financial input here, but we don't
Mhm.
have, in some ways, until an
Mhm.
expectation is set. We really don't have
Mhm.
much right to bring anything up because nobody knows what
Mhm.
they're violating.
Yeah,
So in
that's
in
true.
their mind, in their mind, they're judging themselves by their intentions. You're judging them by their behavior,
Mhm.
which is what humans do. In your mind, you're judging yourself by your intentions, and they're judging you by your
Mhm.
behavior. And until we get the expectations of how do we
Mhm.
structure this, where we obviously we're newlyweds, we got to have our time, and then obviously you guys, the way you're not
Mhm.
charging us rent, so you're also part of our agreement is you're going to keep your hobbies here and use the house. So let's just why don't we figure out a schedule? Why don't we figure out what
Mhm.
the expectations are, and we'll see if that works for everybody.
Mhm. Yeah. Okay.
Heavy
Yeah.
sigh.
Yeah.
I'm
I
getting
think
a
I
heavy
just like.
sigh. I'm getting a heavy sigh on the other end.
Yeah. No.
Did
I
I
think
just
it's just
did I just
like.
hand you a burden
Oh
that
no, no,
seems
no.
too big?
No, no. I think it's. I definitely think it's like a step in the right direction. I was talking about it with my cousin yesterday, and she was like, "You seem like you have like a really big fear of in-laws, just because like of how our family turned out, because like I still get like phone calls or like texts about like my aunt ranting about her mother-in-law, and like my mom had a lot of issues with like my dad's mom. But I know like my in-laws are different and they're more willing to listen, but I'm just like, ooh, like I don't want to get off on the wrong foot because we just got married.
Well,
But
that's
I
why I
think it's,
said
yeah.
that's why I said I don't think the first conversation's with your in-laws. I think the first one's with your husband.
Mhm.
And you know, there
Yeah.
is a so do you guys ever read the Bible?
We do. Well,
You
actually,
do?
I'll be honest. Like, not in a while, because we were in like a young adult group, and there was like a book of the, like a book we were going over, like a
Yeah.
Tim Keller
But are
book
you
or something.
a what
But
book?
now, yeah, we haven't done it in like a Tim
Okay, but
Keller, or like
okay.
like
But
like
you're
not
you're
the Bible
you're
itself, but yeah,
you're people of faith, would you say that?
yeah.
Okay. I mean, it doesn't matter in some ways. It doesn't matter if I believe in physics or not, gravity still works. And so, um,
Mm-hmm.
any good systems theory like Bowen or somebody, if you go to the science side of it, you're going to read this same thing. But I love the way the Bible puts it. The way God set it up in Genesis, he said that a man will leave his mother and father and cleave to his wife, which
Mm-hmm.
means it doesn't mean we don't have relationships with them, but it does mean that the
Mm-hmm.
primary attachment and the number one entity that we are
Mm-hmm.
cleaving to
Mm-hmm.
is our spouse. And in order to do that, you've got to unplug the primary, source of life and loyalties, and you know, you honor them, but you don't obey them, right? You're a new entity, a self-governing entity. So I think you guys have to sit down and figure out,
Mm-hmm.
we left and became married. We're a new couple. This is our family. We've chosen to have our family in this
Mm-hmm.
contractual arrangement with your parents.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah.
how much are we willing to pay for that?
Yeah.
Because remember, I said earlier, this isn't free. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You're
Yeah.
not paying rent, but you're paying access into your home that renters don't do.
Mm-hmm.
Renters pay money.
Yeah.
Instead of money, you pay access. Okay. You give,
Mm-hmm.
there's other things. And so that's fine. This is a great arrangement. I hope you can work this out. But what are the expectations, and what do we need to negotiate? And say, we love having
Mm-hmm.
y'all here. We love it that you come to your 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 hobbies. We would love to keep some of your food, but we need to know what the expectations are, and like how much warning
Mm-hmm.
we would like, or maybe it's certain days. There's no right or wrong. You
Yeah.
just guys have got to get the expectations down.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
All
that'll
right.
be good. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Or like it's like we both have to do our end of it too. Like I think the last thing I want to hear from them is like, well, we let you live in this house, and like, it's still our house and stuff. So, but I think
Well,
being able
well,
to address, yeah.
well. Okay, but I'm gonna tell you something.
Okay.
You're already hearing them say that in your head, and that's why you're
Mhm.
afraid. Don't feel like you can bring this or that up, because that's the contract
Mm.
you're working under now. It is an unspoken, vague, confusing set of
Mhm.
expectations. So you
Mhm.
will be under that reality, okay? And in the
Mhm.
negotiation, they've already said that. This is just fact. This isn't
Mhm.
bad. They've already said you're living in our
Mhm.
house rent free. Therefore, we want to be able to do our hobbies there. Okay, that's part of the deal. We just need to define what that is. And it may
Mhm.
be that you say, if you went too far, any deal has no, I can't pay that much. If they say they want to
Mhm.
drop in 24/7, no warning, have, leave out, you may say that's too much for us. And they say, but we're letting you live rent free. You go, well, I
Mhm.
know, but we'd probably rather have to pay rent somewhere and take a little longer to save our money if we can't have that kind of privacy. There's no bad guy in this.
Uh-huh.
It's just not worth it.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I got to get some other callers, but you bring up I'm so glad you called. I want to hear back from you because so many people, they may not be newlyweds. They might not be newlyweds, but they're in arrangements with their in-laws where, I mean, let's face it, in-laws are further down the road. You know, when you're newly married and all that, in-laws been out this longer. They got more equity usually. They have more money. A lot of them want to help out. How do they help out? What do you have to give in return for that? What are the expectations? I love it when the expectations are clear. And there's no right answer.
Yeah.
But there is a right answer.
Yeah, I'll definitely talk to
that we know the answer.
But I mean, if I was to get, yeah, definitely. If I was to give you an update, would I send an email?
Call me back. I'd love for everybody to hear the update.
Oh, okay.
And
That's great,
remind Albie. I'm calling back with an update.
Okay.
Sounds
good.
By the way, and you don't have to say this, okay? You can no, I don't feel comfortable saying that. But if you weren't living there, how much would you be paying in rent somewhere to get what you need?
Ooh, yeah. Honestly, I guess it depends on like the city because like we're both working from home right now, so we could literally live like anywhere.
Okay.
But I'm gonna guess like $2,500 a month.
$2,500 a month, pretty much after tax, right? So it's really whatever tax bracket you're in added on top of that. Okay, so let's put that in your head. How much privacy am I willing to give up for $40,000 a year? Pre-tax. Just a question.
Yeah, yeah, definitely something to think about. I don't think I have it like a response off the top of my head right now.
I'm not asking you to. I'm going to give you one question. Another thing is, what about my psychological pennies? How much marriage, how many germs are getting into our marriage with not having enough space to have, and I don't mean that they're bad people. I just mean a marriage has got to have its own space, even from kids, So how much of that are we willing to give up? And a bunch of other stuff. Okay, I got to run, but call me back.
Okay.
And
definitely. Thank you so much, Dr. Cloud.
Congratulations on your new marriage. And tell your husband, congratulations on picking a great one. All right. Thank you for your call. All righty. Let's go to Krista, who's calling us from North Carolina with a dating question. Don't know what the dating question is, but Krista, welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you, Dr. Cloud.
Hey, Krista, before I take your question, and let me ask our team, do we have a date for our dating seminar yet?
We haven't made a date for our dating seminar. Right now we have the depression seminar coming up on February 17th.
Okay. Now, Krista, I want you and all the singles out there, whether you're, whatever.
Is there something else I can help with?
No, Siri, I'm not talking to you. I said singles, not Siri. I don't know if you guys, maybe Siri is single. She may be signing up for this event. So it will come up within the next, we'll be announcing it within the next week, I bet, but it'll be in the next probably 6 to 8 weeks would be my guess. We're going to have a 2-hour workshop on dating because we get so many dating calls. So watch for that and we'll be announcing it. Okay, Krista, what's going on?
Okay, so I am interested in this guy, but I
I don't know what it is.
Siri's interested in this guy too.
Hey, maybe you're stepping on Siri's boyfriend's toes here. I don't know.
Apparently.
I haven't had that happen before. So you're interested in this guy. Keep going.
Okay. And he has a lot of great qualities that I've observed so far. We've been in a small group together because of COVID, actually. We ended up in the same small group online.
Cool.
And yeah, he has a lot of wonderful qualities. But there's this one time when we were on the call and there was somebody off camera that I don't know who was there, what the situation was, but he got impatient with them and was, visibly upset and being short with them. And everybody has a bad day, but my issue is that I grew up with an abusive father, and so I was told early on, this tendency we have to marry someone like that, if and so I've been fearful of that most of my life, and so I guess I need help with.
Can I interrupt you with one thing?
Of course.
Don't lose your train of thought. You say we have a tendency to marry someone like that. I don't think that's true. I think that can be true.
Okay, good.
But here's whatever I'm saying this not just for you, but for everybody else. What we'll have a tendency to do is we will be attracted to or avoid or in some way that is going to play into who we pick. So some people, for example, they might have a critical, abusive, aggressive father, and because of that woundedness, they don't want to get close to any aggression, and they'll be attracted to very weak, passive men. But the father relationship still comes into play, but they might go the opposite direction. Okay.
Yeah, I think I basically did that for most of them. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So now you're a little more attracted to somebody that might have a, kind of be a little more on display with what they like and don't like. Okay. So keep going. I didn't want to stop you. I just wanted to kind of clarify that.
No, I appreciate that. I do appreciate that. And so, so basically it's just this fear comes up every time someone is serious with me, that because my mom said she didn't know he was like that before they got married. So I have a fear factor that this, something horrible is going to come out after marriage,
Yeah.
And that's why I've always been looking for that most of my dating life. Like, what's the problem here? Where is it, And so I'm trying to get away from that and be more, instead of focusing on what's bad, focusing on what's good, what's right.
Well, I would hold on. We got to do both. And I wouldn't say focus, but we got to be aware of both. You don't want to go into dating just looking for what's good in somebody at all. Because I mean, there are dirty men in trench coats that have an ice cream cone to hand to people, but they're very seductive. I know, aren't they nice? And they have ice cream, but we're not seeing a bunch of other stuff, right? So I don't know who came up with the phrase, and you could there's a couple of verses you might be able to bend into this, but it's not even close. But somebody came up with a phrase a long time. Well, I'm just going to believe the best. You better not. Because you better not, because you may be ignoring some really, really, really strong red flags. So anyway, let's go both eyes wide open. And then hopefully what you're going to see is you're going to see a lot of good, and you're going to see some imperfections. And then you have to ask, are those imperfections I can live with, or are those imperfections I can't live with? Let's look at it that way.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So is that kind of your question?
I think so. Yeah. And then I just have this deep-seated fear that got triggered when I saw that, and I don't know how to let go of the fear.
Let's play with that a little bit. So how bad was it? See, sometimes we can look. Let's pretend we're not in COVID and you go to work every day. All right. So it's Monday, and you went to the beach the day on Sunday, or you went to the pool and it's July, and you got sunburn. All right. So then you go into the you go into work the next day and you walk into the kitchen there at work where the coffee machine is, and your friend comes up behind you, slaps you on the shoulder. How you doing? Did you have a good weekend? Something normal, right? Maybe a little hard, but no. And you're like, I'm sunburned, right? It really, really hurt. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of a normal thing to do. You might say, "Ooh, dude, a little lighter next time." But if we're sunburned, it really, really hurts. If we're not, it doesn't really do much to us. It just kind of say, "Well, don't slap me on the back, shake my hand or something." So what sometimes if we're really, really still hurting and we haven't overcome that abuse and the voices in our heads and the way it feels and all that, then it's like having a sunburn. And sometimes something that reminds us of it, certainly, if he got impatient and snapped at somebody or something, you might experience it as I can't be around that. Where somebody else might experience it as, dude, calm down a little bit. And so,
Right. Yeah.
but there are other people that come in and just knock the crap out of you. Now, which did he do? How severe was it? What are we really talking about?
Yeah, I mean, if it was a horrible day, then it was a pretty mild reaction, probably.
What did he do?
And he wasn't like being really ugly or yelling. It was just like impatience, and there's like a facial like grumpiness. I don't know how to describe it. Where that it's like an internal, they can't deal with their emotions. But he was holding him. I think he was controlling himself. So it wasn't like he was out of control, which is what my dad did.
Okay.
It was like the precursor to my dad being out of control kind of feeling.
There you go. So I am so proud of you for noticing this and doing something. Okay. And here's what you're doing. And I want everybody else to hear this who has that issue. What you're doing is you are noticing that this is not about you. This is about him. See, many people that have been abused or whatever, if somebody gets like that, then they go, oh, what did I do to upset them? And they immediately begin to personalize it. Oh, I better be nice. Did I say something? As opposed to you're staying separate from him and you're saying, this guy might have an issue. And that is a perfectly legitimate question, depending on what he did or whatever. But it is great that you notice it, and it's great that you just log it and say, that's something I'll need to watch and find out more about.
Oh, okay.
So it goes into the I wonder what this is category. And this is why I tell people, don't fall in love immediately and dump everybody, dump the whole dating world, and stop going out with people until you know that this is somebody that you really want to invest in. So you're in a look-see mode, and probably when you get to spend time with him off of Zoom, then you're going to have a lot of different, before somebody gets serious, and this is the mistake people make all the time, they'll find one person and just get serious. You're gonna, spend time with him in different situations, see the opportunities he has to get upset, find out if this is a character pattern or a bad day. Everybody has bad days. Some people,
of course,
all their days are bad because they're bad. So yeah. I like what you're doing. I want you to heal the sunburn apart from him, but I like it that you're Boundaries.me, we have a lot of courses on safe people. What are safe people like and what are unsafe people like? And I'm glad you're thinking about that.
Oh, thanks. And the boundaries book actually really did help me with my dad. We have a very different relationship now. It's still not perfect. It's not, I wouldn't call it great, but it's come radically different from when I started.
Well, how about
addressing it?
Because you started to set boundaries, it's gotten as great as it can be
right.
with him at the level of maturity that he possesses.
Right, exactly, yeah. And funnily enough, something that also helped was this article I read on FBI hostage negotiation techniques. And it really helped me because it was all about, and it played into with the boundaries, like together, like listening to the other person first, being calm, allowing them to be heard, and then feel like they know that you understand them, and then addressing from there. It's made a massive difference in my relationship. And I've prayed a lot about it. God has been really amazing in what he's done on his side of it. So
That is
I'm really thankful for that
so
book that you guys wrote.
well. I hope it's helpful to you. Go to boundaries.me, and there's several courses on there. I think that'll help you in this. There's a dating course on there, and there's also a lot on being able to see these dynamics in people and working on your people picker and being able to pick safe people. But I'm glad you're working on this, and sound like you got a lot of wisdom happening, a lot of growth, and I encourage you. And good luck with this guy. And you know what? Is he interested in you? I mean, is he started to show any kind of next step?
He's a little bit, not anything overt yet, but making initiative to talk a little bit. So.
Oh, cool. Then I would say
not like an I'm interested in you kind of thing, but
Yeah, just let it unfold. Okay. But if it does unfold and it gets in there and y'all get to any kind of level, then if you see this trait, why don't you say to him, dude, sometimes it seems like you get a little amped up on small things.
Okay.
See what he says. If he says, "Oh, I know you're right. That's I've been told that. I need to work on that. Thank you for telling me." Boy, is that a good sign. If he gets defensive and blaming, well, who are you to question how or I'm not like that, or what, that's going to tell you something. So,
yes, it does.
think about that.
That's really helpful. Thank you.
All right, Krista. Thank you for your call. Appreciate it. You've helped a lot of people today. All righty. Bye-bye.
Oh, thanks. Okay.
So many good things in there. So many good things in there. It's one of the reasons I love doing this program, because I get to talk to you guys, because a few things. One is, listen to the callers that we get. You're working on yourselves. You're involved in growth. The only way your life's going to be better is if you grow. I mean, if we're waiting for the outside world to change, good luck for that, right? We got to grow to be able to make a great life in the world we live in the world we find ourselves in. So, that's kind of callers we mostly get here. But secondly, the issues that you call about. And here's something I want to expand to the audience is, just take the last couple of calls with Yvonne and Krista both, and I'll leave Michael Jr. out of it, is that think of the issues in there that you don't have to have their same problem, do you? You're not dating. And how many of you guys are living in your in-laws' house? There'll be a few, but not many. How many of you are getting interested in somebody over first month in a Zoom small group from your probably church or something? Maybe a few, but not everybody. But how many of us can identify with the issue of unspoken expectations that we feel obliged to live up to, that we've never really had the conversation about? We don't know if we're stepping on somebody's toes by saying, don't eat my food, or don't come by without texting, or if that's a normal thing to do. How many of you are struggling under unspoken, avoided conversations and expectations? All of us, somewhere in some relationship, right? And how many of you have kind of seen something in somebody that maybe you want to go further in becoming a friend, or working for, or investing in, or having a relationship with, and you see something and you don't know what's underneath there? What's underneath there? You go out into the woodshed, and you might, throw that board away, and you pick it up and throw it away. Reach over and pick up another board. there's spiders and roaches and termites. What's that snake? There's a lot underneath there. So everybody can identify with that. It might be somebody that you kind of see something. Let that be a warning sign. Don't believe the best all the time without both eyes wide open. There's a little phrase, it's not too unknown, people. It's called read the fine print in life. Anybody can put the, 1-800 get skinny. We'll send you a pill. You lose 100 pounds in the next 30 days. Great. Google that company, read the reviews. Then you'll find out. Well, we need to be doing our own reviewing. Okay. Tatiana calling us from Chicago with a boyfriend question. Got 2 boyfriend questions back to back. Tatiana, welcome to the program.
Hi, how are you? Hi.
I'm good. How are you?
All right. So my question, good. Okay. So my question is, my boyfriend is 24 years old. I love him dearly. We've been together a good year and a half. He doesn't have a job right now, and we're prayerfully considering marriage down the line. Nowhere near now, but down the line. So
okay.
I guess,
how old
I
are you?
concerns.
He's 24, and how old are you?
Same age.
Same age. Okay. It wasn't like I'm 63 or I'm, 18.
No.
I didn't know you said he's 24. Like, I didn't know if that was significant or not. Okay. So he's 24, you're 24. And what's happening?
Yes. So we're both kind of in that exploratory phase of life where we don't know exactly what we want to do yet, career-wise, ministry-wise, that kind of a thing. I'm in school. He's taking a class with Google for tech, but he doesn't have a job. And like I said, we're kind of considering marriage down the line in a couple years. So I get worried when it comes to, how can I trust, like that he will man up in a way and, down the line, how can I be supportive now? What should I look out for? What should my expectations be? That kind of a thing.
Great question.
Thank you.
What are you? Let's start with what are your expectations? And again, I'm not going to be. I'm not. Hold on a second. I'm not going to sit here as a judge, right? In some ways, like, I'm not going to say, well, he better make this amount of money, or he better, whatever. Everybody, there's a wide, like playing field of how different people kind of do this. What I'm more interested in is kind of the patterns that you see and how proactively he's creating whatever it is that he wants to end up doing. So what are your expectations for a husband? Some people have expectations that they want a husband to be the sole breadwinner. They want to raise kids, or they want to work in charities, or what are your expectations? What do you want?
So my expectations, honestly, I see marriage more as like a teamwork. So not to make the most money, but I expect him just to have a full-time job at least soon and to be saving his money for a future, like for a wife and a family.
Now stop.
That's
stop,
it. It doesn't
stop,
matter
stop,
what
stop.
he does.
Just stop for a second. That's what I'm talking about. I just want to highlight. I don't care what the numbers are. Okay. I want to know I said proactively, if somebody is responsible, they're financially responsible, they're contributing, they're pulling their weight, and they get up every day and go put their hand to the plow. I don't care what plow it is, but are you doing something, right? Okay, so I'm with you. All right, so keep going.
So he has kind of a lot of different gifts and desires and talents, and he doesn't know how to narrow that down. So he kind of dips his foot in different things. He leads worship at my church, but that's not paid. He's doing school for like a entry-level tech job. And so I would just love to see him stick to one thing and just be full-time. in it,
Great.
so that there's a financial security there.
Absolutely, absolutely reasonable expectation to stick to something and finish it. And there's
Right.
nothing wrong. In fact, I would be very worried if one of my daughters brought somebody home and they're flighting from one thing to another and haven't, been able to decide what they want to do. And I'm not talking about a lifetime commitment to one job. Nobody does that. The average is about 7 different careers, I think, or jobs for people over the course of a lifetime. But I'm talking about the ability to decide on something and really take it to fruition. If you take it to fruition and you're performing and everybody's happy with you and you're getting a check and you're getting good reviews and all of that, and then you decide, you know what, I think I'd rather do this, that's fine because you got a character. See, that's character, not money. See the difference?
Right. Yeah.
And I think you're
So I guess
getting a
my
little
question is,
scared. I'm gonna be honest with you. I
oh,
think you've
go
been with
ahead.
him a year and a half. I think you got some concerns here.
Yeah, I do. And, I don't, it's like, I know who he is deep down. Like, I see the potential. And that's why, I'm not like threatening the relationship. Like, I believe in
Why?
what the Lord could do in his life. And I
Why?
believe
Wait a
he
minute. Whoa,
wants
whoa, whoa,
it.
whoa. I'm going to ask you a question. Why aren't you threatening the relationship?
Because because I don't believe that he's a lazy bum. I don't believe that's who he will be.
Okay. You probably
Yeah, like
don't believe.
when I have seen him work, and he takes care of a lot of his family responsibilities. I see his work ethic, and it's strong when he does use it.
Wait a minute. Now you've said that twice. When he has worked or when he does use it, well, when I go fishing, I do certain things too, but I don't go all the time. So how often is when that you see a work ethic, a real work ethic? I'm not saying you should threaten it. I'm asking why. How are these little spurts of windows of show you some potential, or is this a guy that shows up to life and meets the demands of life?
I guess when I say that, I mean when he does have a job. So he had a job, but then COVID hit and he lost his job. So now he's just kind of been, not doing anything about it, kind of feeling discouraged with what he wants to do with his life, doesn't want to get a job until he kind of figures out what is like the real thing, kind of a thing. So when I say he has great work ethic, it's when he is working, when he's dedicated to something.
When I'm hearing when again. That scares me.
Yeah.
Look, COVID's been around a while. Okay.
Right.
And I understand a lot of people can't find jobs, but that doesn't mean for 10 months I don't do anything fruitful.
Right.
Now, I don't know which he's doing. I'm just giving you questions to ask.
Right. Yeah. So how do I go about that in terms of, a conversation or like we have mentors? Should I bring it up to them?
Well, how do you do your mentoring? Is it one-on-one and together, or is it all together all the time?
All together.
Okay. Let me be you, and you be you. No, yeah, you be him, and I'll be you. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So now these mentors are mentoring you in your relationship or in your individual lives?
In our relationship.
Oh, great. Oh, awesome. How cool are you guys? All right. So, okay, I got a mentoring issue. We're in our mentoring meeting here. Okay. We're in this relationship. We've been in this relationship for a year and a half. As y'all know, I love so many things about Joey. and I'd listen to his creativity and his dedication, to his family and how he is with me. And he's caring and spontaneous and he's creative. Am I describing him accurately?
Yeah, you are actually.
Okay. Yeah. And he's really funny. Right. Um, and there's just so many things that I like. And that's really good when you're dating. But we're also talking about maybe becoming partners in life. And what I've also seen is that kind of the hunger to really land on something and stick to it and work it through and knowing where he's heading or knowing what he's doing. I feel, okay, I'm not judging anything here, but this is what I see, and I'd have some examples. It kind of scares me. I have a concern. It kind of scares me that if the past is a predictor of the future, unless something changes, I don't want to be married in that kind of a scenario, and I worry about it. And so, first of all, Joey, we've never talked about this, so how do you feel about that? Because I don't want to be the one. If we're in a boat together, I don't want to be the only one paddling while you're figuring it out. And so I think that's how something like that, if you've never talked
Mm-hmm.
about this. And then I would say, so at some point it's going to get to, here's what I would do. It's called the magic of self-selection. No more Mr. Bad. I've got
Mm-hmm.
a chapter in a book called Necessary Endings. And the chapter is No More Mr. Bad Guy, the magic of self-selection. And what that means is you're not going to be a bad person and judge him, right? What you're going to do with your life, this is your life, you're going to get to decide, what kind of man do I want to marry? What's acceptable? What are things I can live without? What are permission to play? I'm not even going to date you if you're not these things, but
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot of imperfections I can live with and a lot of stuff. There's some things I can't live with. All right. So whoever sits in that chair called husband to me, okay, the one I choose is going to look like this. I don't mean look physically, but they're going to always
Mm-hmm.
be meeting the demands before them and looking, and they don't have a job, they're looking for one, or they're building something, or whatever it is. But I want to see as much activity in attacking life as I'm putting in because I want a partner. I
Mm-hmm.
hope that's you. Right now, I have questions about that. And before we get engaged, if we do,
Mm-hmm.
then you would have to look like that before I agree to taking the next step. And you get to choose.
Right.
It would be something
Yeah.
like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
Is
And
that hard? Is that
then
hard to hear?
once we
Or
talk
am I
about that,
validating something? Am I validating something, or is that new news that's hard to hear?
no, I mean it's a little hard to hear, just like a little bit, but no, it's true. Like I thought about that, and like I have so much faith in who he is that it's like I really don't think it will come to that, but I will do that if necessary.
Well, wait. Well, why would that
And
be? Why would
uh
why would it need to come to that? Why wouldn't if I mean that's just a fact. And if he's already doing that and doing that, he would say, yeah, what are you talking about? I went on 63 job interviews this week. I finished
mhm,
14 modules of coding for the Google
mhm,
algorithms that they require. It's not going to come to anything. What we're going to do is evaluate the reality of what is.
mhm.
So I wouldn't be scared of
So
that.
am I having too much grace for him?
I don't know him, but you've said
Mhm,
you've said several things that make me wonder. I'm not going to call it too much grace. I don't think we can have too much grace. What we can have is we can have some wishes that aren't grounded in objective realities. Because when
Mhm.
you're talking about potential, and I've seen this when he does this, I'd like to
Mhm.
see, obviously, we all have potential that's got to be realized. I would just like to see the potential showing up more than in spurts.
Right.
I mean, like, like, oh, I see potential in Tiger Woods. Well, if you roll the video
Mhm.
back, what that meant was at 4 years old, he was out there on the driving range at 5 o'clock in the morning for a lot of years before you see that
Right.
performer. And I'll close with one story.
Right.
Okay. Can I bother you
Mhm.
with one little story?
Yeah, of course.
A friend of mine came to me one time and said, I think I'm going to get the question from my daughter's boyfriend. He asked me out to dinner, and I think he's going to ask for her hand in marriage. What do I do? I said, well, I know what I'm going to do. He said, what? And I said, tell him, gosh, it's great that y'all are thinking about that. I've always liked you, if you do, and all that. It said, but before we have that conversation, I would like to have another dinner, and I want you to bring your last 2 years tax returns and your credit report. And this man looked at me like I was insane. He said, I am not. That's so intrusive. I'm not going to ask for his how much money he and his. I said, well, hold on a second. Tell him I don't care about the numbers. It's like you said, I'm not looking for a certain amount. I want to know, you can blot out the numbers. I want to know that he has them. Okay. And
Mhm.
I want to know what his credit report looks like because he's made promises and commitments to other people financially. Jesus used this example a gazillion times. I just want to see if he fulfills his commitments. Now, some people might have a credit, but they have answers and they have reasons why. COVID came, I lost my job, I had to notice. That's fine. Or is it a pattern? Because if he's going to ask me to entrust one of my greatest treasures in life, my daughter, give my, blessing on this, I want to see what he's done. That's the heart. That's the most important thing in life. A person. What have you done something with something even material? I just want to see that he's had them.
Right.
I want to see what his character looks like. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I don't care what the numbers are. I just want to
Mhm.
see performance in life.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Anything? We got it?
Yeah. I think so. For my response to this is to have that conversation and give it a timeline or just be patient, or what am I missing? Am I missing something for
You're
the
20,
appropriate response to this?
you're 24. Okay.
Mhm.
24 is young. Um, presumably in a normal life, you got some runway ahead of you, so you got time to waste on somebody that's not performing. If he is like that, or if he's really growing, the fact that he's in a mentoring relationship tells me this guy's got a lot of good qualities. I mean, he wants to grow, he wants to learn, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's what you're looking for. I don't know the timeline, but it's not so much time as you're looking for some certain qualities to show up. Okay. Is
Mhm.
he doing things that really are, I might not know what I want to do, but what am I doing to solve that problem? Am I going and trying
Mhm.
things? Am I going to a counselor? Am I trying to experiment with different things? Am I asking people if I can tag along to their work? Am I going to workshops? Am I going to forums? Am I
Mhm.
reading books about this? Okay. Do I recognize that I've kind of got a pattern here of stalling out, and I want to find out what that's about and I want to fix it? Do I have somebody holding me accountable? How, excuse me, so what you want to see, You don't have to see perfection. You have to see involvement in the process that's going to bring about perfection.
Right. Okay.
That's what I would want. Otherwise, then you are wasting time.
Right. Yeah. And I do see that heart in him, but he needs
Yeah.
to push. And unfortunately, he doesn't have a father to push him, but somebody needs to push him.
Well, you're right. And it can't be you, but a limit will.
Right.
You know,
Mhm.
it's got to
I
come
see.
from him.
Yeah.
But you got to say, I don't know if it's you or
Mhm.
not that's going to sit in that chair, but here's what that chair is going to look like, whoever sits it there. Now, that limit will cause him to find some push. If you're having to push him in
Right.
this, then you're a mother and not a wife.
Mhm.
And guess what little
Okay.
boys are wired to do with a mother? They're wired to leave her and cling to somebody
Yeah.
else. So that's where affairs can come from. A little boy marrying a
Mhm.
mother, and then he resents her, and then he
Mm.
goes off and finds somebody else. Be careful.
Mhm.
I'm not saying
Right.
that's him. I'm just saying you're not the push. There's a difference in
Right.
making a requirement and being the push.
For sure. And that's why I'll bring
Okay.
it up to mentors so that they can discuss it.
Well,
Yeah.
look, and this isn't it's not
All
about
right.
him. It's about you. Say, I'm scared. Take care of my fear.
Mm.
Cure my fear
Yeah.
of this. That's his. And I'll close with one more thing, and then I really have to go. When my
Mhm.
oldest daughter was learning to drive, and I'm over in the other seat, I'm depending on her, right? She's behind the wheel. She's got her permit.
Mhm.
And I'm seeing some
Yeah.
stuff scaring the crap out of me, right? You got to slow. No, you're too close
Mhm.
to. And after a while, she's like, "Dad, I know how to drive." I said, "Pull the car over." She pulls it over. I said, "Olivia, I'm going to give you a definition of when you know how to drive. Are you ready? You know how to drive when I can sit over here in this seat and not be scared. Fix
Mm.
my fear. Take care of my fear." And she's going to have to do some behaviors, isn't she, to take care of that fear? So all you got to do is say, I got a fear. I don't want to live like this. I don't
Mhm.
want to life. I got a fear. Take care of my fear. Cure my fear, and we're there. I'm not judging you at all. Fix
Right.
my fear. All right.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your call and good luck. And I'm glad y'all are getting good mentoring. And that's a wonderful thing. Okay. Unfortunately, we are out of time. I wish we could. There's a lot of callers. A lot of callers I'd like to get to. I want to encourage you, and Albie, maybe you can help do this, to maybe we can get them on first thing tomorrow. Do we have, let me see. Yeah, we're on our regular time tomorrow. Looks like at 10 a.m. Pacific. And we'll get to a lot of you that have been holding. I'm sorry we didn't get to all of you today, but maybe we'll get to you early on tomorrow. A couple of quick announcements. One is that we just did a New Year's workshop that you can still get. I think it's still up there. Boundaries, go to boundaries, www.boundaries.me/2021 to get the New Year's resolutions workshop. There's also a recovering from divorce workshop available there. And always boundaries.me, there are 80 different courses on there of all the things we talk about here. Upcoming workshops, we've got one on depression, boundaries.me/depression that we're going to be having upcoming in next month, I think. And then we got a dating one that'll be announced before too long. So we've got a lot of good things going on. Stay tuned, keep watching, share it with your friends. And once again, I'm grateful to you for being part of this gang that we get to hang out every day. Okay, guys, see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.